Hello, my name is Frank Christensen and I'm the coordinator of officials for IFAF Europe. This is the second of 4 training tapes dealing with personal foul unnecessary roughness. Today we're looking at dead ball situations and the foul is committed by the team not in possession. So we'll have a look at some examples to see what is too much and who should be looking at this. You know, the typical thing about unnecessary roughness is that it typically happens away from the ball, away from the runner. So mechanics and cleanup become very instrumental. But before we get to the game film, let's have a look to see what the rulebook and the MOFO have to say on this topic. In the rulebook, we go to 9.1.12, contact against an opponent out of the play, and B says no player shall run into or throw himself against an opponent obviously out of the play, either before or after the ball is dead. In the MOFO, we start out in 3.3.5 illegal block in the back, where E says charging into a player's back away from the play may be called as unnecessary roughness. This may be called regardless of the timing of the block relative to the end of the play. And then we move on to 3.3.12 dealing with unnecessary roughness. A. An act that occurs well away from the play may be classed as a personal foul even though the act itself is legal. In other words, it is the location of the players with respect to the play that causes the foul, not the legality of the contact. B. Be certain that the act wasn't justified by the play situation, for example an interception or fumble return or a broken play. If a player is in position to influence the play or moving towards it, he is a fair target. If he's standing still, he is not. C. It is not a foul if 2 players are each blocking each other. Only contact against a player off his guard needs to be penalized. D. For unnecessary hits away from the ball near the end of the play, make them dead ball fouls rather than live ball fouls. And finally, E. When a player is hit after giving himself up, a foul is warranted. And that was the book. Now let's have a look at some real live examples in the game film. In this first play, we're looking at the running back, and he's not going to do anything, but he's going to get hit by a defensive player who really should be going for the ball. And in this case, I mean, the play's over here, and the defender then just decides to make a cheap shot. And again, if we have any doubts whether this is live ball or dead ball, we're going to go with the dead ball judgment. And B76 here should be going for the runner, should be going for the ball, and even though he tries to make it look like that's where he's going, this is really just a cheap shot and certainly an unnecessary roughness by this defender. Now, who should see this? The wing is probably focused on the runner here, so really potentially the umpire, but probably more likely the deep wing on this side or the back judge should be able to be cleaning up in this area. On this play, we're going to be looking in front of the play. So the run is going to come this side, or here comes the quarterback, and we're looking in front of the runner. So right now we can already see around the 32-33 yard line that the defender is lining up his target, and sure enough, here comes the hit, and it's clearly out of bounds. The runner is out of bounds now by a considerable margin, and you cannot argue that the defender is going for the ball or the runner. He is just going for this cheap shot, and that certainly is something that we want to be alert to and should be calling. So the umpire might be able to see it. The center judge might even be able to see it, just from the angle that they have. But really, we're looking for the deep wing and or the back judge to be able to pick this up, and the indicator again, or what we're looking for is is everybody else is slowing down, and here is a defender speeding up, and we need to be able to pick that up and spot it, because for the deep wing and the bag judge, it doesn't appear that there is much of anything else to be looking at, and this certainly is something that we would want to have called as a personal foul, unnecessary roughness. On this play, we're looking at the cornerback away from the camera, so B5, and for some reason he does that. Now this is an interesting thing, or an interesting situation. I mean, it's clearly dead ball, it's clearly unnecessary, so this should be a dead ball personal foul for unnecessary roughness. It's an interesting situation, because obviously the referee right now, and probably the wing on this side, will be looking at the ball just to make sure that the quarterback does recover the ball, it doesn't squirt out, and so this would be the only one who has a good chance to see this would be the line of scrimmage, the linesman over there. But if he gets sucked into looking at the ball, he may miss this. And I think that's what happens in this case. So for the backside wing, really put on your wide angle, so that we can, even though this is a very unusual thing, this is something that we do need to call. On this play, we're looking at the two linebackers, traditional linebackers there. We're looking at the guy closest to the camera. And he's going to get into the offensive backfield. He's going to get a little shove there. And after the play, he's going to do that. Completely unnecessary. And we're seeing a pattern here. The ball is dead, and the defender, instead of going for the ball, he just finds somebody. Here it's a retaliatory act, but he just finds somebody and gives them a cheap shot. It's still football related. So it's not unsportsmanlike conduct, but this certainly is a dead ball, personal foul, unnecessary roughness. And who should be seeing this? Well, referee, center judge, the wings might be able to see it if it pops up, but certainly the backfield officials should be able to see this. So this certainly should be called. The last two examples are plays with legal action. And the first one, we're looking at the receiver here to the right, closest to the camera. So if we just follow him, he's going to engage this defender right there. And even though this last action here of pulling him to the ground is dead ball, it's really just a continuation of what happens here. So that starts inbounds, and this push is also, if not live ball, then certainly very, very close to live ball action. And then this is just a continuation, and a defender is allowed to pull away an offensive player who's trying to block him. So even though it ends up being dead ball, because it starts as live ball, we're fine with this action, and this does not rise to the level of dead ball, unnecessary roughness. In this last one, we're looking at the field judge key at the top of the screen away from the camera. So the receiver and the cornerback are just going to start dancing there, and then well after the play ends, the red player just happens to win. But again, it starts as a live ball, and it's just a continuation, and just because the red player was stronger, that doesn't really mean that he needs to be punished for or penalized for that. And another thing is, this is from the start of the play. This is the field judge key. The line judge is not even looking at it, nor should he be. And then right at the end, as the white player falls down, it catches the line judge's attention, and he throws a flag on it. Now, before you call something on somebody else's key, you really have to be sure that you saw everything. You saw certainly that you saw enough, and and that it's not just a knee-jerk reaction. And here, the field judge, as he should, comes up to question what the call was, and tries to offer his opinion on this as just being continuing action, and it not rising to the level of unnecessary roughness. And since it's the line judge's key or flag, obviously it's his determination, his decision to pick up the flag. But I would encourage anybody, certainly if something happens on your key, if somebody throws on your key, come up and question it. And if you do throw on somebody else's key, be very, very sure that you have it right, and that you have something that the primary official did not see or could not see. And that was it for this edition of the training tape. I hope it made sense, and I hope you found something you can use on the field.